Hi, this is the extracurricular activities screen tutorial in digital measures. Once you're logged in and you're on the main menu, scroll down to the service section and click on the extracurricular service activities hot link. That will open up the submenu. Here you would create a record for each extracurricular service activity that you've participated in. If this is an activity you participate in each year, leave the end date fields blank. Digital measures will automatically put your entries in descending date order for you. The records you create in this screen are used to populate your resume, CV, and faculty evaluation reports. Some examples of extracurricular activities might be volunteering your time at the Union Gospel Mission Medical Clinic, volunteering your time at Science Olympiad, or perhaps volunteering your time to organize and or run a booth at the annual charity 5K fun run. One thing that I would like to tell you is that you want to remember that there are two possible uses of digital measures at all times. One is your performance evaluation at PNWU, and the second is creating a CV or a resume for yourself. So keep in mind that, of course, you want to definitely add in any committee service, extracurricular service activities that you do on behalf of PNWU. But if you're also planning to use digital measures to create a resume or a CV, then you also may want to put in other types of activities that aren't necessarily in support of PNWU. They're more of a personal nature for you, so that you can add those to your CV or resume. There is a question in the activity screen itself that will differentiate the items that are on behalf of PNWU from the items that are not. And so we use that question when we pull the data out of digital measures. We use that question to determine whether or not we count that particular activity in our total service hours that we use for accreditation purposes. So I'll show you kind of what that looks like. So if you open up, actually I'm going to click add a new item here. To add an activity, you just click that add a new item, and then you put in the title of the activity. So for instance, I'm going to add Habitat for Humanity as an activity that I volunteered at. Actually, what I'll do, I'm going to change this. Let's see. Volunteer for Habitat for Humanity, and then the actual organization name is Habitat for Humanity. And then the position role, and I'll see if I have it here, if I can find it. Now, if you don't see something on the list that's appropriate, you can always just choose Other, and then just type in what you did, what your role was, and the city, state, country, and the approximate number of hours that you spent for the year doing that. Is your participation in this activity related to your job at PNWU? For this particular activity, this is a personal volunteer opportunity, and it isn't involved with PNWU, so I'm going to say no here. So this is the question that helps us when we pull the data out of the system, and we're looking at aggregating that information for accreditation purposes in support of our core themes and the comm goals and objectives. This is the question that helps us determine whether or not we can count that activity in those numbers. And so this particular activity would not count in the numbers. But that's okay, because like I said, the system, we put this question there on purpose so that we can use the system for both purposes. If the activity event project is supported or sponsored by PNWU, who is the PNWU contact person, this one isn't, so I don't have to fill that part out. The audience, for this one, I would say this is a local. It's the Yakima chapter. Does this service activity include or promote OMM? Obviously no. Membership organization primarily serves the field of. I would just type in Other there, and then it is, let's say low income housing. And brief description. and then the start date. And for this, I'm just going to put in, I think, I don't know exactly, month. You have to have at least a month and a year, right? And I know I did it a couple of times. I think it was over a couple of month periods. So there we go. And then, now don't forget, before you save, you want to go back through, make sure that you have the fields that have that red asterisk on them. You have to at least have those fields filled out in order to be able to save this activity, which we do. And then you definitely have to have at least a month and a year for one of these date fields, and we have that as well. So I'm going to click Save and Return, and now it has saved that activity. And as you can see, it moved it down to the bottom there. Okay, so that being said, so this is basically how you create a new item. Now, if I wanted to delete this item, all I have to do is, as you can see, there's a delete button up here, but right now it's not prominent, it's grayed out. If I click the checkbox next to this activity that I just entered, now suddenly that delete button became prominent. I can actually check the box next to all of these activities if I wanted to delete all of them at once. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to delete this one, and then I click the delete button. It asks me, am I sure I want to delete this record? I say okay, and now it's gone. Okay, so that's basically how to create an extracurricular community service activity. Give me a call or send me an email if you have any questions on the screen or any of the other digital measure screens. Thanks for viewing.